Hi, everybody. Russ and my hammers. Oh, it's like I had a little earthquake in Ormchurch then. I just kicked the table. Anyway, hope everyone is safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you're made of any time there's new content on. As always, like to thank our channel sponsors, Untuck It. Check them out in the description below. Their shops are all open. They're all open, Mark, in Westfield, London, and Covent Garden. So you can go and look at them rather than do it online. Anyway, today's guest, it's Mark, but you might not know who he is. But you might know his Twitter handle, the Pie and Mash and Liquor Tour. That's who he is. It's Mr. Pie Mash himself. It's Mark. How you doing, Mark, man? How you doing?
I'm very well, Russ. Very well. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. What did you have for lunch today?
I had 2 lots of pie and mash. double twice. Shocking, eh?
Double twice. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. With liquor?
With liquor and eels. Lovely.
And eels.
And eels.
That's what separates the men from the boys. It's the eels, isn't it? Really, I think, by all accounts.
Possibly. Won't go down that road.
Right. As I said, full disclosure, I don't like pie and mash. I don't like pie. I'll be honest. I never like pastry much. My wife and my mother-in-law absolutely love it. So any opportunity there's some pie and mash going, my mother-in-law, and my wife will be devouring it. And then me and my daughter, we just like have to make do on our own. We have to make do our own. But how's things for you, man? How you been?
I've been good, just doing what we're told, don't we?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I'm working. I'm working the key working field, so I've been always working throughout the entire stuff, and just either working from home or going in. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, is what it is, isn't it?
Mental health's been all right. Mental health's been pretty good with it. So yeah.
That's the main thing. That's the thing. I think actually, although it's been horrible, obviously what happened and what's happening rather, and tragic. Some in terms of I always try and look for positives, and one of the positives is I think mental health, like being like more forefront of people, particularly blokes as well, in it. Do you know what I mean? That's something I think which is good because obviously everyone's got like a newfound appreciation for him, making sure everyone's mentally well as physically well. But it's I mean this channel, this is basically my mental my mental health journey, because it's like it just keeps me out of trouble and keeps me like having a purpose during the evenings and stuff. So it's either that or I have to watch reality TV shows with my wife, and I don't mind them, but you can only watch all Christmas movies at the moment, like Channel 5 Christmas movies. It's like a Christmas insert name here could be a Christmas package, a Christmas cushion, or Christmas at home, and it's all the same story. I walk in and literally say to my wife, right, he's going to fall in love with her and she's going to have to go back to the big city. And she comes back at the end when it's the big concert, and it's like, yes, I know. And obviously you've been busy on the obviously you got your Pie and Mash Liquor Tour Twitter. I mean, that's been going for about a year now, isn't it? A year and a bit now, I think, isn't it?
Going on for a while, yeah. It's been going on for a while. Do you want to know how I set it up? Is that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's a boring story, to be honest with you, Russ, but I love telling the story, because people are going to listen. It's great.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I started getting into travel writing.
Yeah.
I went and done a travel writing class, and I was in this geezer's course, and I was the only Londoner in the class. And he said, do something about London that if a tourist comes over, you could take them to.
Yeah.
So I've been brought up on pie and mash, and I thought, oh, pie and mash. So I wrote an article on pie and mash, and the entire class loved it, laughed at it, and stuff like that. And I thought, this is an idea. So I looked on the Meetup website, and there wasn't one, like a Meetup pie and mash group. So I set one up, and it started costing a bit too much money. So I moved it over to Facebook, and we're going on for about a year and a half now, where I was doing once a month, going to a different pie and mash shop all over London and Essex and Kent and all that. So, and whoever wanted, it was to get people to meet up with new people and chats and all this sort of stuff. And it was just nice to meet new people. And so we was doing that, and it seemed to work. It seems to be going all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's one of those things. I think with everything that's gone in the world, like things like so I'm just going to move my table a bit. Things with like all gone in the world at the moment, stuff like food and stuff is something which always brings people together. Do you know what I mean? Isn't it? Food is always. It's like I started doing these silly little baking videos, and people don't love them. They probably just take the piss out of me because I can't bake. But it's something like universal. Everyone has an opinion, don't they? They have an opinion on how
Right.
they want their, how they want their pie mashed. If it's 2 and 2, if they liquor, no liquor. If it's chili vinegar, whatever. So it's something which is universal, isn't it? You have to eat,
Yeah.
as when I spoke to Callingtown Len about it. He went, yeah, you got to eat. So anything to do with food is always going to be topical. And
That guy's
imagine,
talented, isn't he? Canning
I
Town
love
Len's
Len.
been
Yeah, he's
absolutely talented.
top guy. Yeah, lovely bloke, and yeah, I mean he's some of his stuff. He's got a nice car though. Quite a
Oh,
nice
is he?
car. Yeah. he turned up to my door once, and well, I didn't recognize the face because obviously I only know, like, he didn't look like the cartoon, the big nose and the hat, so that's what I was waiting for. And yeah, nice car, but no, he's a good boy about Len. And Nigel, I mean, obviously he's partner in crime. Obviously Nigel, his son has pie mash, they delivery, they do it down Ockenden Market, but I think they'll be starting again this weekend actually. And he has the takeaway pie mash delivery, and so yeah, he's good. Do you get people like say to you, "Oh, you should try da da da," and you go and try it, and it's not good?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But I mean, it's all acquired taste, and it's like you
Of
said,
course, yeah,
it's all an acquired taste. Some people will not go to a pie mash shop because they'll have ice cream scoop mash, and other
yeah,
people will only go to it because it's what the mash is wiped on the plate, and it's just, yeah, I'm not bothered, to be honest. I'll
yeah,
go anywhere, try it. If I like it, I'll go back. If I don't, I won't.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'll
Fair enough.
keep it simple, innit?
How many different pie mash places do you reckon you've eaten?
To be fair, years ago, it was only probably about 5 or 6 I'd gone to, but now
Yeah,
it's because of this. I've gone to like
yeah.
20 odd. I think 20 odd
Wow.
within a year. So yeah, it's sort of like, and there's more to, because more shops are opening, which is good.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, and
definitely.
I know over the years many have closed. Like the one I went to, the first ever one I went to was Ledyard's in West Ham Lane in Stratford.
Yeah,
That's where my mum's from. And that's no longer there. It's a chicken shop, but now the one I was brought up on is still here. It's in Leytonstone, so I still use that one. So
yeah. It's
just
funny,
trying
isn't it?
different stuff in it.
And what makes, and in your opinion, what makes, what's the key to a good pie and mash? Because it's
Love,
something
rough,
which,
love,
love,
love.
yeah. Because it's something which I don't know why, and I think I'm just ignorant. I'll be honest. I think I'm ignorant to it a little bit because I don't eat it. So I suppose it's the same. And again, I know basically Nigel and Cannington are going to watch this because they'll piss themselves. But it's like kebabs for me, and it's like it's all the same components, isn't it? Really, I mean, but it's the quality of the meat and it's the quality of the lettuce and how fresh. I imagine it's the same with the pie mash. Really, it's the quality of the pastry and the quality, as you said, of the whether it is in the ice cream scoops or it's smudged on and stuff like that. There's so many different variable parts to constitute the best pie mash you could ever eat, isn't it? It's all they all sort of come together to make that perfect pie mash for you. What's the best one you've
Yeah,
ever eaten at?
the one I was brought up on, which is
Yeah,
the Noted Eel and Pie in Leytonstone.
yeah,
I think that's the same with most people. They'll always go for the place that they're brought up on.
sure,
It's always
yeah,
going to
yeah,
be
yeah.
their favourite one or the best one. And I remember they used to do wiped mash, and then they changed it to scoop, and it was like an outrage. I can't be doing this. What's going on? Shocking. But it's cracking. I was there today, and it was cracking stuff. I think, and the geezer there, the one who runs it, it's a family. It's obviously family run, and he gets
Yeah,
the meat from the market, and he
yeah.
debones it himself. He minces it himself, so it's all fresh,
Oh,
proper
yeah, yeah,
fresh
yeah,
meat.
yeah,
So it's all the good stuff. It's not like it's just bought from Waitrose or Lidl. It's
yeah.
straight from the proper meat market, and he cuts it all up himself.
Oh,
So
fair
it's
play.
yeah, yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
We'll have to make a jaunt there one day for the old mother-in-law and the wife. Yeah, yeah. But you're right. It's like everyone has their favorite pie mash shop, and then everything's compared to that, isn't it? So it's
That's
like
right.
that's the pinnacle. Whenever it's not as good or almost as good, it's not usually better than the one that is their favorite because it's
That's
their
right.
favorite, isn't it? So yeah, yeah. And I'm exactly the same with kebabs. I'll be honest, I'm exactly the same with kebabs. And it's nice because obviously you go to the same shop, or your favorite shop, so they know you. And the fact you've gone in twice, today, or you've gone in and bought double, you've obviously you spend a lot of money at their shops, so they're more likely to welcome you with open arms, isn't it? And stuff. It's the
Absolutely.
same with me and the kebabs.
Well, that's the thing. It's cheaper than other food.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So like it's like £8, I think, that'll sort me out for the rest of the day. It's just that I'm greedy. So I sort of like had it twice.
Why not? Why
Why
not?
not? Yeah, that's right.
Innit? Life's
You only
too
live twice.
short.
That's right.
Exactly.
You only live
Life's too
twice. Yeah.
short, innit? If everything that's gone on has told us one thing, it's life can just change literally in a blink of an eye. I remember like last year, like I remember being at West Ham this time last year, talking in very, very vague terms about this virus that's in China, saying,
Mm.
"Oh yeah, I know. Then would you think, no, I won't come over here. It's like bird flu and SARS and stuff. It's just like And then within the space of like 6 weeks, the world's turned on its head, isn't it? And football's turned on its head, and everything's turned on its head. And only now can we start seeing like this sort of slight light at the end of the tunnel. So why not have double?
Absolutely.
Innit?
Absolutely. Why not? Why not?
I love it. But and obviously, we're here. We're here to talk about West Ham and stuff as well, obviously. And it's the same thing. Why not have a double? Why not enjoy the fact we're fifth in the league?
Fifth in the
why
league.
not? Can you? I'm the same. We could go third on Saturday. Actually, when is this going to come out? This is going to come out Saturday. This will come out, before we, it was come out on the Saturday, I think. Maybe it might be on the Sunday. Oh god, we could have come. We'll just edit it. We could have been third if we won. We had a draw today. There we go. We've covered all three now, so we're all right. We're okay. But yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? At the moment, it's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's West Ham all over, though, isn't it? Don't you think? All over.
Just when you think that's it, beginning of the season, all that fiction list came out. We're thinking, oh, that's it. We are down already, and it's like the Moyes side has done it, man. The Moyes side has done it. Yeah. It's a lovely thing. It's a lovely thing, and I just like seeing the team having a go. Do you know what I mean? They just got a bit about them at the moment. I can't remember I was thinking about the other day. The last time I can think of a team that had a sort of a plan. They seem to have like a plan. There's clearly like a plan with Moyes. It's probably Big Sam. Probably the Big Sam era. It was boring football. It wasn't like, but he had an idea, and it was a bloody single-minded vision, and he executed it. And fair play, man. It's nice to see us be lucky as well.
It's a good sort of like rapport they've got. It's like a good camaraderie as well.
Yeah,
it's like they're all playing together.
Yes,
I mean they all get on well, and I think that's a massive thing. Massive
huge.
part of why we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It's huge, man. It's huge, but not just like the guys on the pitch. The backroom staff seem to be all one in one. A bit like the old West Ham. I call it the old West Ham, sort of the early '90s, where if it kicked off, it all kicked off. And it was like it's the same with the backroom staff. I mean, them and John Terry, them basically versus John Terry on Monday. Brilliant. And like Dave Billows, who's become really famous. No one knew who he was, the sports psychologist bloke or the sports scientist bloke. It was like, who's this? He's got book. Who's he? And it's like David Billows, bless him. He's become famous. But yeah, I love it. It's just a great vibe. And obviously Saturday, we'd had 2,000 people come in. It's a start, man. Isn't it? It's a start, isn't it?
Absolutely. No, definitely. And it's against Man United as well. So even with 2,000 people in there, it should still be relatively good atmosphere.
Yeah.
But I was looking at the rules. They're not allowed to do certain stuff, are they?
No, there's real restrictions. I mean, we've spoken about it on the channel before. It's like, some people are clucking to get in. They're clucking to get back, and it's like fair enough. Some people are like, I'll come back when there's 75% of people in there, which is fair enough. It's going to be weird. It's going to be strange, but for those 2,000 people, they can say they've been there as well, innit? And they've seen a West Ham game, at the stadium, first time for about, I don't know, 10 months or something ridiculous like that. I don't know exactly, but no, it's going to be strange, but it's nice. It'd be nice to get people there because it's weird. I mean, obviously, I'm there each home game. It's weird. It's quiet. I mean, it's playing havoc with my parking now. I'll be honest, Mark. I'm not getting a car park space, I don't think, anymore. So, one hand giveth, the other taketh away. But no, I can't wait, man, because it's just otherwise, there's no, even with 2,000, there'll be some feedback, so you can. Obviously, I'm in this box and I can't hear nothing. All I can hear is I know when it's loud because the floor rumbles because it's like made of steel, but I can't feel. And it's just nice to go out at half time and you'll be able to hear fans talking rather than journalists typing. That's basically what I can't
Yeah,
wait to hear.
yeah.
Very, very strange. But anyway, he digresses as always. 15 minutes in, first question. That's pretty good for me today, to be honest. Now I can probably guess the answer because why West Ham, Mark? Why is it your club, man?
No choice, Russ. No
Yeah,
choice. I was brought up, my entire family are West Ham. So my dad was West Ham, my mum, my grands, my family on my dad's side, my family on my mum's side, everyone's West Ham. So I
yeah,
didn't really have a choice. My older brother was a season ticket older when I was growing up, so he was over there all the time. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I weren't into football at the beginning
no,
when I was a kid.
no.
I really weren't into it, and I was born in the. I should have remembered the '86 season. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah,
how old was I? I was about 8 or 9. Don't
yeah.
remember it. How gutted is that? You know what I mean?
But it wasn't on
I,
telly, really. It wasn't
no,
the telly bands, so you didn't really get a lot of the games. So yeah, it
true.
makes sense. Fair enough.
So yeah, I didn't really have any other choice, really, if I'm honest. But it's just when you go over there at Upton Park, I was over there right around about. I remember one of my first games. I don't know if it was my first game, but it was just that
Yeah,
atmosphere. I was a small kid, and you're just in the North Bank, and it was just crowds of people. It was before all
mm,
seating, wasn't it? So it was just everyone
yeah.
standing up, and there was just this constant singing, and it was tight, and it was just saying there's just saying fucking excuse my language, sorry,
No, it's
saying poetic
silly.
about it, saying
Yeah, yeah,
poetic
yeah,
about it. You know what I mean? And I just thought this is amazing, and that was one of the games I remember was we drew 2-2 with Aston Villa, and Alan McInally scored twice. It was just before he went off to Munich, and I think
yeah.
Devonshire scored for West Ham that day, or it was an own goal, but it was his goal, but they gave it to an own goal. So I remember seeing Devonshire play, and
Wow.
that guy was pretty good, wasn't he?
It wasn't bad for 5 grand, was it? How many
Oh
prime match you
man,
get for that? Yeah, but you know what I mean.
oh yeah,
He's it's funny. Isn't it? You're right. It's not about necessarily. I mean, it's quite funny when people talk about their first games and stuff. They don't necessarily the result is not usually the first thing they say. Do you know what I mean? It's usually about, and it was, you was like, I remember, I think I remember my first game, but what I remember was, and you went into sort of the sensory of it all, sort of
Ooh,
the camaraderie, the togetherness. Oh, and it's like almost as an afterthought. Oh, I only drew 2 or I only lost 5-2, or so, and that's what I think. That's what I think people have really missed is that camaraderie. You can get some reaction doing like this type thing, but it's that sort of everyone together, everyone shouting at the linesman, everyone, shouting at the opposition, or so I mean that's the type, and going for a beer like pre-match,
yeah,
going to the boats or the supporters clubs or whatever, and win, lose, or win, was it win, draw, or no, draw, win, lose, always on the booze, or whatever it is, and that's what I think people are really missing. And so the sooner we can get back and do that, the better, isn't it? And yeah, it's one of those things where I think with Upton Park particularly, it was a sensory overload, wasn't it? Really, particularly as you said, for a little kid like yourself. I mean, that's probably the first time you've seen so many people in a
yeah,
space. I was thinking about it
yeah,
today. I was thinking about my first game. My first game, I think there was. Len told me it was. I think it's about literally like 11,000 people at my first game. It was like we played Oxford United in '92, and no wonder we got a ticket. Very fucking 11,000 people turned up, but it was. I'd never seen that many people in one place. I've
yeah,
never heard that level of singing, that noise, that swearing as well.
yeah,
To the
yeah,
degree that you could get away with it a bit.
yeah.
And just all the smells like the cut
Bovril,
grass, like Bovril, yeah, the burger vans, like where, and that's like Ken's Calf, and that's that
yeah,
cheap burger smell. I can never. I
me
actually
too.
I mentioned it. I was walking past an old a fish and chip shop nowhere near me really, and I could that I got the waft of that sort of cheap burger smell, and it took me straight back. It was really weird. It was like a bit cathartic. I just stood there for a bit and just went, how weird. It's like literally all the emotions came back of like that first game and seeing the pitch and seeing West Ham concede after 30 seconds and all that stuff. And, it all set me up for the next, I think it was 28 years last week was the first game I went to. But
Wow,
no, it's great, man. It's great. But no, I love it.
wow.
It's fun in it. And as you said, being away, and we said when we said, "Oh, enjoy it," we got to enjoy the fact that we're going to be fifth in the league because we know there's going to be a speed bump. We know it's going to happen, isn't it?
Oh man, yeah,
It's
absolutely,
like that. It's like that
absolutely.
really crap James Bond move, when the villain's got James Bond and it's a really slow laser going between his legs, and you just know it's going to come, but you can't enjoy the journey, so to speak. You can't enjoy the rest. You're waiting for that laser to hit him, and it's the
Yeah,
same. It's going to come. We'll lose. We'll turn like Burnley will turn us over or something like that. But it's the West Ham way, isn't it? It's the West Ham way, and that's why I love them. That's why I love it because you never
man,
know. But you never know when that game's going to happen, so you got to watch every game.
that's right.
It's like that Spurs game. The amusement was, I was quite amusing 3-0 down. It was like, oh, West Ham, such a West Ham thing. And then, half time when we go to my wife, I'm going to just watch it in the front, see how many more we concede in the second half. Oh, West Ham, and then obviously what happened. And then my mother-in-law running in thinking I'd turned my ankle because I'd screamed like Anzini got, ah!
What a goal, though, eh? What a goal.
Oh, it was nice for him as well because he's like been in and out of injuries, and he's never really replicated that first season, did it, with Lanzini? I mean, he burst onto the scene. Him and Payet were like just worked, weren't it? That season, I mean, such a season that was. That was amazing, and it's nice to see. I mean, it's like we had it's like we talked, we interviewed like Trev Sinks the other day, and obviously they finished fifth that season, with under Harry, and it was, just thinking about that again, your mind drifts, and it's like, yeah, I'm not getting carried away, but I have just downloaded the Champions League theme tune just for next season, just so it's on the iPad ready, Oh, I wonder I'd probably get sacked if I played that on Saturday. Could you imagine? The champions. Off we go, Russ. Okay. One day. No, I'm joking.
One day.
Right. Let's go and talk about your 11 then, Mark. So I said, so I can tell there's been some late night, almost X Factor esque when you're picking your groups. You've got all the Polaroids out.
Oh, don't.
That's why I thought we'd do it now. For you change your mind another 4 times, to be honest.
Oh, it's been more than 4 times I've changed my mind. But it's all, yeah. Oh, it's been good though. I've enjoyed it.
Good.
It's been good because
I
was really looking at all the old games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was in my time, and yeah, it's still a tough one though, Russ. Still a tough one.
He's a tough one. It's one of those things where I think when you're doing it. And obviously, we've spoken about, you go, God would say many different players, and as we said, and you came up with an idea, like in terms of a caveat, so to speak, and I think that makes things a little bit easier. Probably not thinking about it again, that caveat, because actually, go on, you go through what your sort of criteria was, Mark, and then we'll discuss that afterwards.
It was sort of players that played for West Ham made over 100 league appearances.
Yeah.
That was the main one I went with. And to be fair, the 2 guys I had as my strikers didn't have over 100 league appearances, which really surprised me. So I had to take them out, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it did narrow it down a bit, but it still didn't help, if I'm honest.
So I thought, when you told me, I thought that's a really good idea. And I thought, actually, it's probably not, because if anything, it just literally hones it down to probably all the best players, because all the players that are closest to West Ham hearts, because they've played over 100 games for the club, and so Anyway, right, we'll do it before we change your mind.
Hammer of the Year a few times as well.
Of course, they would. Yeah, they would have had to be as well, wouldn't it? Just because when you play that many games, you're always going to be hammer. You're going to be there or thereabouts. It's like I was doing a quiz yesterday for American Hammers, and one of the questions was Hammer of the Year 2015-16 season, and it was lucky I wasn't it wasn't my question, but he said Aaron Cresswell, and I was like, bollocks, he was, but it was, I think it was Aaron Cresswell, and I didn't know if it's the right answer.
Wow.
But yeah, because I think it was. Oh, do you know? I should have actually checked before I said it, because guaranteed someone's like, no, it wasn't Aaron Cresswell, it was da 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 da. But yeah, and Hammer of the Year, Hammer, yes, was named Hammer of the Year and Players Hammer of the Year It was a 14-15 series, not 15-16. No, that was the last season of the bowling. But yeah, 14-15. Fair play to him. See, and players like him, players like Cresswell, the whole thing with Moyes. I mean, I've coined this phrase, Moyesification. To Moyesify is the verb, and he's like a different player than he was under Pellegrini. Antonio's been Moyesified. Masuaku's been Moyesified. Exactly. I mean, you wouldn't give a shit a year ago if he was injured on international duty. But when there was a rumour that he came back early at the beginning of the season, injured, we were like, oh my God, that's it. That's it. Well, who's going to play there now? It's funny, isn't it? How players, their turn of form, and then they become so integral. But yeah, no, it's just great. No, I just think it's brilliant. Yeah. Right. Okay. So who's going to be in goal for this Centurion 11 then, Mark?
Right. Going Ludo
McCloskey. God bless him.
McCloskey. Comes from near Moscow, doesn't he?
Yes, he did. I remember when I was a youngish lad and I was in his presence, so to speak, he definitely, if I dreamt it, it must have been a very elaborate dream, but I swear he introduced himself to a bloke next to me. He was like a bloke. I was only like a kid. And he goes, I'm Ludo. I don't come from near Moscow. I swear he said that. And if not, it's a great story he should have said. But yeah, top bloke. He just sprang onto the scene, didn't he? Really, this sort of, we didn't know where he was from. And actually, we was interviewing a guy yesterday who claims that he was at the game that someone came up with that song. This kid started singing it, and everyone looked at him and went, "What? It doesn't come in Russia. He's from Czechoslovakia." But then it all just started, and then the fact we still sing the song 30 years on.
Yeah,
mental.
Yeah. I just found him such an incredible, powerful goalkeeper.
Yeah,
I mean, he was just because we had because I think Phil Parkes was second choice to him at one stage, still wasn't he? I'm sure it's Phil Parkes because we had Alan McKnight.
Yeah.
Alan McKnight, we bought Alan McKnight from Celtic, didn't we? And he was in goal for a while.
Yeah.
Remember Alan McKnight? I think they called him
McKnight.
Yeah.
McKnight, man, bless him. Yeah.
Yeah. Shame. And but then he turned up, and he just there was something special about him. He made a lot of mistakes, but he pulled off some incredible saves. I mean, I just really like. Childhood thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? Just seeing that big,
it's true.
Always, goal, you just thought,
He was just so big, and it was so different, obviously, from someone like Parksy, who was obviously just big, where he was just athletic, wasn't he? Really athletic. He used to kick the ball funny as well, sort of on the side. He had almost like sideways on. And anytime he played Man United, he pulled out a worldie, didn't he? That's what he did. He always did it. Always did it. Bless him.
Right.
Top guy. I love him. And just a lovely bloke as well. Do you know what I mean? And they all are of that era, I think. Everyone we've had on the channel, all the ex-players, they're all lovely. They're all just like they're just so thankful to have, had the support of West Ham fans. Even to their sort of like, even to some of their not their detriment, but even, like I always think of someone like John Pansill. John Pansill, when I interviewed him, he was a lovely bloke, so friendly, so like lovely. And he said something to me. He said, "Oh yeah, I loved West Ham. The fans, they all adored me." And I sat there for about a minute, just letting him talk. Just say, "Okay, John, you believe it, mate." They'd all sing my name along the chicken run. I was like, "Yep, okay." I don't remember that, John. I'll be honest. But he played 15 games best year, but I don't care. I think he only played like 15 or so games, like started, and then he and then I think he had a lot of sub appearances. Let me have a look again because I'm like, naturally he played 37 times and Johnny Pansill played. There we go. Yes, thank you. He played 9 appearances. He made 9 starts, 15 sub appearances. There we go. But yeah, he was only here for 2 years, bless him. But yeah. And his name, because it was like Pantsill, but he'd spell it Paintsill, and no one ever knew how to spell his name properly. Anyway, it's like Suchek. It's like the one on the guy on the TV calls him something different, like Sourchek. and it's like Kufal, and it should be Kufal, but apparently he likes to pronounce it Sufal. I don't understand. Anyway, Lunia McCluskey's in. Who's next, Mike? You go as you've got on your bit of paper or whatever, mate.
Right. I'm actually going for the right back, even though I preferred it. I saw him a lot more as a centre back, but
Sure.
I struggled with the right back one. I'm going with Steve Potts.
Oh, I love him.
I just found him. He was just ever present. He was, he just, yeah. He
Just
scored his first.
reliable.
He was perfectly reliable, and he scored his only goal as a right back as well, didn't he?
He did.
I mean,
He did. We did a we did a show for him a couple of weeks ago. Like completely dedicated to Steve Potts and me and Martin, who's the announcer at West Ham I work with. He put the clips together, and one was the goal, his goal. But apparently, just before he had a better chance just before that goal, for against Hull City, and someone's first game was that game as well. But yeah, top. He's just a lovely bloke. Again, dependable. Would always be there. I think sometimes he would often get not overlooked when you're looking at centre backs or right backs in general at West Ham, or centre backs particularly at West Ham, because he was always there, wasn't he? Always there. And if he despite he played, I think eventually they rounded up to 506, I think. But I just love him.
Yeah, no, I do
trying to get him on the show, but he's very shy. He's a shy man, Steve is. He's very shy, bless him. So is Ludo, actually. They're both quite shy. Right, so we'll put Stevie P in. Oh, I love Steve Potts. Right, okay. I just think he's great. Hey, go on, who's next there, Mark?
Right, so I'm going to go for a centre back.
Yep.
Right, I've chopped and changed this one over and over again, not because of. Just because I saw him only a couple of times, really, but because of who he is, I've got to put him in as Billy Bonds.
Yeah, you saw him play, so he's in.
Yeah, so he's in, isn't he?
I
think the guy's just an absolute beast of a man. You know what I mean?
Gentleman, yeah.
Beast on the pitch.
Yeah.
Guys
so
are blue
humble.
And all that.
Yeah, oh God, he's such a humble bloke. I can't remember, I was interviewing someone, and they said, I think it might be Matt Lorenzo or someone like that. And his dad used to interview Billy, and literally he would, after a game, he'd literally get a pack of 4 from the fridge, and literally be dripping sweat and dripping wet out of the shower, and in the car back home. And it's like, fair play, you know what I mean? Famously, he didn't turn up to the last game at Upton Park because of all the trouble. And he was in the car with his family, his grandkids, and didn't want to put them in any harm. Turned around and came back. So, again, I respect that. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean, he had the stand named after him. That was a terribly emotional day.
Oh, man. Yeah. I think the guy, he just had everything. I mean, he just was that. You knew when he was on there, he'd just give it. Or even as a manager, he wanted to be what he tried. He tried.
Yeah. It is, yeah, and it's just like, and that's what I like about something. I mean, these 3 already you've picked. You didn't have to worry about them putting a shift in. Do you know what I mean? It's like nowadays, I think and someone mentioned it, I think it was, we interviewed a guy called #Jacko the other day, and he said, when you look at a team sheet now and you see certain players on there, you wince a little bit, like, is he gonna put it in today? Where Potsy, Bonzo, Ludo, you knew they're going to give their all, and so that's one thing you'd have to worry about. If you're not good enough technically, that's not your fault. The fact is we put you. Management. Someone's put you in a claret and blue shirt, but as long as you fight for that claret and blue shirt, that's all people can ask, isn't it? If you give them your all,
that's it.
It's such a simple game. It can be. All right, okay, we'll put Bonzo in then. Good old Bonzo.
Right.
Who's next?
With him is Rio.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
That's
a nice pairing.
Yeah.
Rolls Royce.
Perfect.
Yeah.
2 completely, like, Rio and Billy together. I mean, sort of like, I just thought that guy. I saw him when he was just had this. He was just glide, Rio, and I just really enjoyed that team around about that time. That team was incredible as well, really.
Oh, it's a great team.
We had, it was just superb.
It was a great team, and I think with Rio as well. And that's a great point about gliding. The best players do. in it. They don't run, they glide. I remember
Mm.
seeing not West Ham player at Upton Park, but Thierry Henry when they were in their pomp, when Arsenal were in their pomp, and he was like, I'd watch him, and he was almost like he was ice skating. He was like so smooth running across the pitch. And I was thinking, oh. It was like, I really wanted him. And then when we had Freddie Canuto, I was like, that's it, we've got Henry. No, just didn't fulfill his position. Anyway, good old Rio, love him. Top guy.
Absolutely.
Top guy.
Left back, I
Yeah.
think, got to be Julian.
Yeah, definitely.
Julian Dix. Just, everything there. I think the guy's I just love that man. Love that man. He was another one who gave it all. And really, he'll back that back four there are all sort of very much leaders as well. They've all been captains or whatever. So
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I mean Rio was captain obviously of Man United and stuff. He's a little bit older, but yeah, they're all the back four have been captains sometime in their career, innit? And brilliant. Yeah, and Julian was just like, I don't know. I mean, you can't. Yeah, it's the words are the same words you sort of when you talk about Julian to everyone else, but it's like he was just such a being a left back. It wasn't a particularly glamorous position. It was it's not exciting, but he made it exciting, and he was like a conductor of that crowd at Upton Park, wasn't he? If he wanted to get everyone going again, he would kick Jonathan Spence in the head, or he'd he would do one of his I mean, he scored the first ever goal I saw at West Ham, which was one of his 30-yard pingers into the top corner. And it was just great guy. And it's nice. I mean, I like the fact that obviously he's doing stuff with Slav at West Brom. Good luck to him. Didn't really. I mean, obviously the season it worked well, and then obviously the wheels fell off a little bit in season 2. But I don't think that's will tarnish people's view of Julian, because he was never really involved, was he? And he was part of the coaching staff, but not part of the coaching staff, wasn't it? In terms of that sort of thing, he was just there as a. I mean, now he's obviously very much part of West Brom's coaching staff, but they're doing all right though. It'd be nice to see. I'd hope they'd obviously we missed Scott, because obviously Scott came back, didn't he? With Fulham, and there was no fans in the crowd, and that'd have been nice. I hope with West Brom. I mean, he's obviously came back last year in the cup, didn't they? So, and they beat us, if I remember.
Normally
brilliant,
way,
right?
Normally the way.
Anyway, as long as it's a Stockport County in Ian Dowie derby.
Good old Ian Dowie. I remember that game. Oh my god, best goal he ever scored, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. That's got to be on BBC. That one. You'd think they would replay. I'm sure when that draw was made, Ian's face dropped at home, thinking, "Oh my god!" But maybe like the royalties in terms of the video replays, you know. But bless him, the Ian Dowie derby. Right, who's in mid? Let's go into midfield then.
Right.
Sorry, Ian.
The first centre. Yeah, I love it. I actually really enjoyed Ian Dowie. I did like him. First midfielder, central midfielder, Scotty Parker.
Oh, there we go.
So you just mentioned him. Hammer of the year. I think twice in a row, maybe three times.
3 in a row. Yeah, 3 in a row. Yeah.
He always gave it, didn't he? Great leader. Yeah. Just always got stuck in. Knew you'd get it. Like you said about the other guys, a shift. He'd always give a shift. Used to love watching. He used to sit there and just watch him. Love that man. He
would used to crawl. I mean, we used to. I see him come out of the players' entrance sometimes, like hobbling. He'd put so much into a game. I just think it's great, and it's one of those really frustrating things that there was all that animosity after he'd left. And you look how some people leave, and he left the right way. He still was playing, weren't he? He still played the day before. I think he played Watford. I think he scored. I think in the Championship, and people who maybe were critical of him going to Tottenham in the summer were literally walking Declan Rice out the door. It's so weird. West Ham, we're so fickle, aren't we, as a bunch? But no, he was just a man. Absolutely, he carried that team. Carried that team for 3 years. Totally.
Does a good stuff with the streets as well, doesn't he? Have you been hearing his interviews where they've got the streets behind?
Brilliant. That's brilliant, isn't it? But it just shows you he's got that sort of old and like modern and old mixture, just right. He's like an old school values, but he's in this sort of modern. I like a player, I like a manager who turns up and he looked good. I mean, that Fulham game, he bought a new blazer for that. That's for sure. He looked good. He looked good. Bless him. But right, Scotty P is in.
Right.
Who's next, man?
Michael Carrick.
Oh, lovely.
So I went for him because I just remember seeing it. Right, I think it was against Crystal Palace in the Championship because he stayed with us, and I just remember I think it was Palace.
Yep.
Just being up in Park and saw him beat 2 players without touching the ball.
Yeah.
I just thought that guy he had something. I mean, he had something. But to be honest, I think he could have been better than what Man United got him to. I think he could have been so much more.
Mm.
So I just found him. He was probably one of our best midfielders for a while.
Oh,
At one stage, he was. Yeah.
He's one He's not one of those players who, maybe wasn't in people's. For a lot of people, they might not put him straight in the team if they were like putting their dream team down, so to speak. But every team he's left and gone to another team, they haven't been able to replace him. We never really replaced him. Spurs never really replaced him. Man United never really replaced him either. And he's just part. There's certain players who just go about their business, and he should have played more games for England. And yeah, as you said, he should have been at. He should have done probably better or gone to a higher level than he did at Man United. And it's just quality. He's a quality player. You said a bit like I think people when because I never saw Trevor Brooking play or anything like that, and people said the same thing about Trevor Brooking, how he would literally beat a player without moving, just by the way he moved his body or just let the ball come across him. And Carrick always had time in the ball, even for as a young lad, and that's a real talent. But go on in. We'll put Mikey Carrick in.
Right.
Good shout.
I mean, there was a lot of other central midfielders.
That's the thing. We're spoiled for choice.
John Moncur, we've done all that. Like what? Alan Devonshire. We're going to go for Alan Devonshire.
Good old Dev.
Go. I was able to see him a couple of times because he was injured most of the time towards the end, wasn't he? But the guy, I mean, he was a glider, pure unadulterated glider.
Yeah.
The guy, he was just.
And he reinvented himself.
Yeah.
Go on, you can, man.
Yeah. And I was just thinking he could have. I don't know. There was a goal he could have reached more than where he got to. I know he got injured, but there was another level, really, wasn't he?
Oh, it's true. Yeah, he was.
The old videos of him as well. We just think, Jesus.
Well, it's like I always envisage people like Dev, Brookham, these guys who were magicians, really. What they would be like on the bowling greens of the Premier League games now, you know what I mean? Because they won some shit, and vice versa. I'd like to see Messi on that pitch when we beat Chelsea 4-0 at Stamford Bridge. Could he do that? Could he do what McAvenny did? I don't think he could. So, but Dev, and again, nowadays when footballers are so one-dimensional, it seems that I always look at someone like Michael Owen. When Michael Owen got injured, did his hamstring, he was never the same player because he couldn't run to that. His game was purely about pace. Dev was the same. It was all about pace, but he got injured and had to reinvent himself as this sort of more tricky wing, like skillful. And he's just brilliant and a lovely bloke, top guy.
He's a manager of a non-league club now, isn't he?
The Maidenhead now. Yeah, they're doing all right this season, but I think he's got. If I'm right, I think he might. I don't think he's got. I don't think it's COVID, but he had something. No, he had COVID. His knee done. He had knee surgery, so he's been out for a couple of weeks.
Very similar. Very similar.
Yeah, well, nowadays when anyone's injured or out, you assume they've got COVID now, but no, he's not. Apologies, no, he had knee surgery, and so he was out for a couple of weeks. I think his assistant manager took over, but they're doing all right. I think Maidenhead this year, so yeah, good on him. Yeah, lovely bloke, lovely guy. Good. Right, okay, Dev is in. Who's next? Mark?
Next, Joe Cole.
Oh, there we go.
Need I say more?
No, definitely not. He's a top talent.
Absolutely.
Just like I don't know, Joe Cole. He was just like, again, you talk about people reaching their potential, and obviously and he was another one, wasn't he? Really, who when you saw him as a kid, that 1999 FA Cup final, putting 8 past Chris Kirkland or 9 past Chris Kirkland, to where he obviously. That was the Joe Cole that I think, and by his own admission, he was he does a podcast with Tom Davis. It's quite a good one, and he was saying he's always been a street footballer. Yeah, no, it's good. It's I think I want to say it's with. I think it's Joe. I think it's Joe Media or Coral or something like that. Yeah, they've had like they get good guests. Obviously, they've had Shearer. I don't know why I'm promoting other things, but anyway, they had Shearer. They had Wayne Bridge and someone else they've had on. They've had three. I think he just started 3 episodes. It's quite good. Joe speaks so well as a footballer.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Tom's a good full guy, so to speak. But Joe said he was always a street footballer, and you can see that when he was when he was with us, it was like, you know, you're not in a position, you're there, just play, and that's when he was at his best.
That's right. He wasn't allowed to do that at Chelsea, really, was he?
No, he wasn't. No, and now I don't think and to be honest, even now I don't think kids can do that anymore in terms of they're put into positions so early on as a career that when you used to have the free role. You don't get a player with a free role anymore now. I mean, even Sniper himself, Grealish. I mean, he's sort of a little bit like that, isn't he? He just walks about and stuff, but he still has defensive duties. He has to run about. I don't know if he does, but it doesn't. He don't have that sort of proverbial free role anymore now. Where I think that's where Joe Cole would have thrived.
Yeah.
But yeah, just top guy as well. Lovely bloke as well. Speaks very highly of the club. Speaks very highly of in football. I think he's brilliant as an analyst on BT Sport. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant.
He is. I do like him. Striker.
Yeah, go for it.
Paolo Di Canio.
When you pick that team, I said if PDC wasn't in it, I think there could have been a few because he was just. I mean, he's just Paolo, isn't he? He's just Paolo. He's one of those players. But as soon as you say the name, you smile.
Yeah.
Because just everything he brought to the game. You're excited to go to West Ham watching him. Not necessarily even the game, but just him. You mentioned people like you mentioned people like John Moncur and stuff like that. You'd go to watch them be John Moncur, not necessarily. Paolo was the same nutter, absolute nutter. But
I love John Moncur, by the way. I just thought I'd say John Moncur was one of my favourite midfielders. It's just that
I loved him.
I fancied them too. But yeah, I loved him. Yeah, he got everywhere, didn't he? He was here, he was there, he was everywhere.
Just like the song, exactly. But but Paolo was just like he's just Paolo, isn't he?
He was.
just a fantastic player, skillful.
Did you go to the Noble testimonial?
Yeah, so he was doing the stuff.
I was working there, wasn't he? Yeah, he did come on. I'm sure I saw him there.
Yeah, he did. And I mean the Tony Carr one I remember particularly well as well because he ended up playing for both teams. Famously, I think he played a half of Tony, and then Tony went to go in for a cup of tea, came out, and Paolo put the other shirt on, and he'd gone and played in the other half. And he's great. He's just a nutter, and he just sometimes a player and a club just work together, and it just worked. We loved him, he loved us. Doesn't always work like that. Sometimes the love is only one way. Dimitri Payet, for example. But it just works, and I mean, Paolo's the best player I've ever. Not the technically best player, but just like the best player. Because I think you've got like technicality. I'd say probably Payet was better, but for me, he had the skill, but he also had that sort of passion. And I think he's maybe he's Italian or whatever, but I just loved him. I thought he was just such a good laugh.
He was.
You didn't know what Paolo was going to turn up, did you? That's why I quite enjoyed it. Yeah, right. PDC is in. God bless him.
Right. This is the tough one, Russ. This is the tough one because I did the 100 games.
Yeah.
I had to take. Can I tell you the guy who I took out? Because I think this guy would have been the best striker we had had in years, and I loved watching him. Dean Ashton.
Yeah.
You know what? Can I stick with him? Him?
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah,
because he should have. He should have had 100 games.
Totally.
He was great.
He had it all, really.
Yeah.
He was. I used to say he was across. He had Shearer and Sheringham inside one man. That's what.
Great
he
shout.
Was.
Yeah.
He was
very
superb. And, man. Still look at some of them videos of him scoring when I was at them games, and you see the FA Cup final and all that sort of stuff. And it was just like, Jesus. What he could have.
Oh, he could have been. I mean, I still like when I see, if ever Sean Wright Phillips comes up on like telly, I can't watch it. I still can't stand the man. You know, and again, such a West Ham thing. I think he's the smallest player to ever play for England or something like that, and he basically ruins a man's career. You know, and yeah, no, he was. You're right. That's a really good analogy of him, Shearer and Sheringham in one person, because he did. You know, and it's like, and I don't think we'd had a strike. Not even West Ham, England have had a striker like that. I mean, you know, Harry Kane is not a skillful. He would never beat a man with a turn of pace or anything like that. Whereas, you know, Ashton had it all. He had skill. He had the intelligence. I mean, some of his goals he scored. I mean, the Mark Noble testimonial, he still scored them like that. You know, he was just a great player, wasn't he?
Absolutely superb.
Yeah,
superb player. I mean, and that FA Cup final. I mean, just him. I'm sure. You know what? I was so drunk that day. I'm sure he scored. He did score, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Just watching at that game when we was it 2-0 up, then 2-1, and just having him there, you knew we always had a chance of something.
Yeah.
And I also think it was the training ground as well, which didn't help.
That's what people said, wasn't it? There was a lot of that where people would keep getting injured, and the training ground was Chadwell Heath was blamed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, touch wood. At the moment, I think we've got a fully fit squad now, haven't we? Because we can now Jack's not there longer with us. I think we've got a fully fit squad. I think now, which is again something which doesn't happen a lot, you know. But yeah, it was just a shame because he never came back the same player, and he obviously it was just such a bad injury. I mean, even now you watch, you know, I obviously following on Instagram and stuff, and he's sitting there, and he's all ready to watch the match, and you see he's still got like a pillow under his leg.
Really?
Yeah, well, his legs are, you know, he's got his legs outstretched and he's got a pillow there. I think he says he like put a little arrow to it so the cartilage doesn't drop in or something like that. It's like fucking hell, you know. It's like it really, really fucked it up and never really recovered. And it's a terrible shame because it's a shame for England and for West Ham and England because I think he would have been the partnership to Rooney that everyone thought.
Oh yeah.
He might not have been a West Ham player for much longer because he might have been at Man United, but
yeah, I think he would have gone to Man United like another season. I reckon he would have stayed, and it would have been too much for him to not go there, would he? You know what I mean?
No, exactly. For what he could do, but yeah, top bloke. Yeah, no, we'll let that one in. We'll slip that one in. No, I like that. That's good, man. Pleasure. It means that I was going to say the alternative would have been Jonathan Calleri, but obviously he didn't play over 100 games, so I knew you were toying between two. But yeah,
Savio was the other one. Savio.
Oh god, Savio. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? When we do like some of the other, we do like silly game shows. We do this one called Pointless, where people have to pick their sort of their 11s, and the idea is it hasn't been picked on one of these shows. And yes, like we've had some dross, you know, we've had some amazing players, and actually, you know, so there's 100 games, you know, sort of criteria. You've gone through a load of great players, but we've had some dross, you know. It's like it's some real, you know, some real shit's come through the door. But no, and that's the thing. But that's why it gives everyone, it gives a shout out to Jonathan Spector, you know, it gives a shout out to David Di Michele and Louis Jimenez. He was a good player.
Jesus, I forgot about him.
He was a good player. Do you remember he bleached his hair, didn't he? And again, it's like I'm rubbish at seasons, but I remember players based on the shirts. And with Louis Jimenez, I remember that awful checkerboard SBO bet one we had. Do you remember? It was awful. That was that. I think that was before. No, it would have been after where we had the patches. Do you remember we had the awful patches? Oh dear!
Excel BAC sponsors. You had the BAC when we had the BAC Windows sponsors, where the shirts just looked too big on. It was like one size fits all.
Yeah. But even like I saw, we're doing this. This will be out after we've done it, but we're doing like a Trevor Sinclair like appreciation show. And I was looking at when he like when he joined, and he had like the Dr. Martin shirts on, and he's like his arms were like he had like bingo arms, like the arms were so far out, and it's like nowadays they're so like tailored to the players, but it was just like so flappy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
How fast he could have run if he didn't have like half a kite behind him, half a parachute holding him back. But no,
what a
it's good.
player he was as well,
Oh,
man. What a player.
brilliant player, and again like a lovely bloke, top guy. They're all, and she's like even like Monks and Bish and Mad Dog. They all,
Ian Bishop.
Oh. That's the trouble, isn't it?
Martin Allen.
Martin Allen now, yeah. Some stories about Martin Allen, yeah. No, then doing this channel, they're always been so gracious to give you their time and because they like talking about the old days, and it's it's lovely. It's lovely to hear from them, because it's like that was my era. So it's like seeing people like that and talking to them, and Kevin Keane and shit. God, dude. It's like Kevin Keane. His car partner. He's like carpool guy was Martin Allen. Could you imagine them two in a car? Because they both live West London as well, going around M25 every day to Chadwell Heath together. I don't know how Kevin copes. Do you know what I mean? Top guy. Anyway, Mark, it's been lovely. You're probably due another pie mash in a minute, so I don't want to keep you.
I'm gonna
dinner
go
time.
to the Roman Road.
Love it. Thank you, mate. I really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you, man.
And obviously, thank you to everyone else for watching or listening. Whatever you do, give it a like, give it a share. And for myself and for Mark, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Come on your irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much love. See you. Bye-bye.